What's up, journey buddies? Welcome back to the Soul's Journey SCR. I'm C. And thank you for tuning in or coming back. Because I'm grateful. Y'all already know exactly what to do with YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you know what you need to do. I don't have to tell you. So, part 2 of answering the call. First off, I want to say, hold on. This might be a thing every time. Anywho, so if you feel called to, I have a new YouTube channel called The Insightful Light Matter Goddess C. Okay, and if you feel called to, you can look up at goddess GODDIS_Z, all lowercase. And if you feel called to, go to my new YouTube channel. I have a few uploads on there, some messages and whatnot. Girls using the tarot and the oracle decks. So, without further ado, in the last video, I was talking about how is that a butterfly? Okay, I've been seeing butterflies and caterpillars everywhere. Caterpillars everywhere. Anywho, so, fall, why don't you? Something fell over here. Anywho, so in the last answering the call, I was talking about how I was like afraid of my purpose. And so this one, I can tell you that has resisting it. So buckle the fuck up, okay? So okay, so back in 2020, when I was afraid and all that type of stuff and all that jazz, and I was, really, and I like kind of, I put source on hold, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want to accept like what was being told to me, and like, I'm being told like I'm a healer, and like this is like on a whole larger scale, like a grander scale, and I'm uncomfortable, like, because I was very comfortable with what I thought was my purpose, which was, being a dancer, and being, with me saying that, me being a dancer, I was a professional dancer. I was doing ballet, jazz, modern. I was performing. I performed on lots of stages. I've been on, some newspapers, maybe not, been like, some of these backup dancers and whatnot, even though that was one of my goals. My main goal was to be Beyonce's like backup dancer, but Source wanted me more in the forefront, but I was more like comfortable with being in the back. Hint, hint. Me wanting to be a backup dancer, right? Me, wanting to have my quote-unquote stardom behind somebody else, because I was comfortable that way. And I've always felt more comfortable being like that because I also was afraid of my own light. I was afraid of, stepping on people's toes and blah, blah, blah. Like, yes, I've had roles and things like that, and I had lead roles, I should say, but I was always afraid of it because I needed to grow my confidence. I needed to trust myself more. I needed to not be afraid of just not being afraid and getting out of that fear, So as I went on the path of resistance, not least resistance, honey, resistance. So as I went on the path of resistance, I was called to leave my job at the end of 2020, and or was it 2021? No, it was 2020. It was 2020. So that December, I put in my 4 weeks because I was working at the Battery. I was working at this franchise. Is it franchise? Anyway, I was working at Super Rica. If you know, you know. If you know, it's okay. And I was called to leave, and I was like, okay, like, well, if I'm being called to leave, then But before I left, I was making the decision of like, okay, I'm going to either we're gonna get a raise and stay, or and continue doing our best to go on the path of my dance career. So that was the plan. So I asked before I put in my 4 weeks, guys, not 2 weeks, 4, because I still wanted a little bit of extra money, before I went into the year 2021. So I asked if I could get a raise, because I've been there for 2 years, and I was just like, like, I deserve a raise at least $1. Give me $1, goddamn shit, but they didn't give it to me, and nor did they give me like a lead hosting position that I should have had, because I took the necessary classes. I took management classes. I took, like, when I say I went out of my way, and they still wouldn't give it to me. You got to do this, you got to do that, and then when I did those things, they still didn't give it to any of them. So, long story short, put in my 4 weeks. Did my 4 weeks, and then here we're in 2021. 2021, what did I do? So boom, I was forcing dance. I hit up old friends, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was getting old dance friends, whom I saw were getting their careers started and things like that, and I was just like, well, shit, okay, well, since I'm in Atlanta, I'm in the city, okay, so what, getting advice, okay, whose classes should I take, what studios are really good, you know what I'm saying, all that jazz, right? And so then I started training a bit more again. I stopped dancing. I stopped training for 2 years. It wasn't that I wasn't dancing. Yeah, I was dancing here and there, but training is a whole different thing. Especially if you're a dancer, training is something. Okay, so I stopped training for 2 years. So now that I'm getting back into it, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a whole bunch of. It's a lot of the mind, a lot of the body. Okay, so getting back into that, and then later on in the year, I got an internship at a dance studio, and wow, am I gonna forget the name of the studio? Damn, Z. Groove to music. Oh fuck. Anywho, if you know, you know. I think that is the studio. But anywho, so I got an internship. Wasn't getting paid for it, but the internship was going to help me get free classes. So I was like, okay, cool. Bet I can get free classes here. I liked the studio because I liked the people that were there. What I mean by the people, the teachers, they weren't so fixated on this whole how do I put this? they were more fixated on the individual and on your growth and on you just being consistent and you becoming the person that you want to be, instead of this whole image and like, you know, we're the best of the best type shit. You know, I don't really know how to put that into words, but anywho, so because I felt like they were more down to earth, you know what I'm saying, they were more grounded, they were more not so like this picture perfect type thing. That is what, you know, that's where I went. So I was there for like a year. Yeah, I was there for like a year into 2022. But when I got the internship, like halfway in the year is when I got it. And then what else was going on? Once I got the internship, that was when, you know, money started getting a little low, because that 2020 money that we were all getting, you know, from the government and all that type of shit, you know what I'm saying, and unemployment, you know what I'm saying, like that, you know, that started to get low. So then I started to kind of panic a bit, because I had a car, I had insurance, I had, you know, groceries, you know, I was helping take care of an entire house, and not only feeding myself, but, you know, I was feeding my brother, I was taking care of my brother and things like that, because at the time my mom was living with her boyfriend, so like she left me and my brother the house that we basically like grew up in. So she was taking care of the bills, honey, but I was taking care of like myself, the things that I had going on, and my brother, you know what I'm saying, like I'm grateful that I had that, you know, I'm grateful that she even was taking care of a lot of things like going on in the house, you know what I'm saying, but because I couldn't really afford a lot of stuff, you know, I wasn't getting money like how she was. But anywho, so I then started like Uber Eats, I started Instacart, I started Postmates, until Postmates and Uber Eats merged, and that didn't take off until 2022, like, so. And then I had a boyfriend at the time, and he was, you know, he was also like chasing after his dreams at that time. We're no longer together, but like, you know, that, I'll talk about that relationship another time. But not to say it was bad. It was a nice relationship. But anywho, that was the most healthiest relationship. That's all I gotta say that I've been in my life so far. You know, for the next one, you know, for this next one, whenever that is, you know, hopefully it'll be my last and then get a ring. Anywho, moving on. So I started, you know, kind of panicking because, you know, the whole money situation, and then like I wasn't really taking classes like that because I was too focused on how am I going to get this money, how am I going to survive, because my boyfriend at the time also was pressuring me to get, was he pressuring me to get another job? It wasn't he was pressuring me, I'm almost running out of time, but anywho, it was just, you know, the whole survival mode, the lack mindset, the poverty consciousness, that was what was really going on, which has taken me a while to really fully release, but I finally released it, you know, years later, like around this year. But yeah, that's what was going on. Like, I was resisting, and obviously, you know, with resisting, you know, like, things aren't going to work out how you thought they were going to work out, because it's obviously not for you, babe. You know, so dance didn't work out, and I'm grateful that it didn't. But might do a part 3, I don't know. But it's much love and appreciation. Thank you for listening, and stay blessed and stay dangerous.